Hey, welcome back to the channel, Vash 13. So today's video is going to be a story time actually. It's going to be more about my childhood somewhat, mostly about what I've always been into, and that's horror. Um, so ever since I was a little kid, I've always loved scary movies. I've seen every Friday the 13th, every Nightmare on Elm Street, every Halloween, you name it, and I've probably seen it. It's only in recent years that I've actually stayed away from a lot of that horror stuff, but it's more on the fact that I've actually grown more actually attached to watching movies with people instead of by myself. When I was younger, I would watch them all by myself. It wouldn't be an issue. My mom actually has stories of me sneaking out of the crib and watching movies all by myself, usually scary ones. She said that I would only know that the movie was over once I saw all the credits rolling up, and I would be there clapping, and that's how she would find me in the living room watching TV. But yeah, growing up, I was just fascinated with those types of movies. Just like the fact that you're trapped in a scenario where usually a monster or some sort of supernatural entity is trying to get you, and like I've always fascinated, thinking, how could I get out of this situation? What's a way that I could defeat this thing? How I would survive. What would I have to do to get out of this scenario, or just to be able to win if it came to one-on-one with a creature like this. So my family's not all have been into it, but we've all enjoyed a couple of scary movies ourselves. My younger sister has enjoyed watching scary movies with me growing up. Our younger brother as well. My older brother, my older sister. We all enjoyed watching. We would watch, Child's Play, Chucky, all of these movies growing up. We were fascinated by it. There was actually one that my dad had rented when I was much younger. It was the Spanish one. Our family is Dominican, so he would rent movies in different languages from time to time. And this one was really crazy. It was, I can't remember the name because it was so long ago. But the premise of the movie was these kids were actually using a Ouija board. And when they used this Ouija board, they summoned some sort of demon creature, some supernatural entity, and the entity was trying to get at a young lady, and for some reason, I guess they were trying to possess her or get her soul. I don't remember the full thing. What I do remember is that it was coming at her, and no matter what they did, it would come at them. It would keep coming for them. There was even a scene that I remember like vividly, which kind of probably traumatized me a bit. There was a scene where they barricaded themselves in a bedroom, and the girl was just so scared, and she was like, she backed away from the door and was stuck to the wall, just scared, clutching at her chest. And then these hands came out the wall and grabbed her, and that image stood in my head for the longest. Just made me think like, damn, what would I do? Like, there'd be times where I'd be at home, getting ready to go to sleep, and if my bed was at the time, from living in different situations, if my bed happened to be close to the wall, I would be thinking like, what if there's a hand come out this wall try to grab me or something. So as I got older, I became more obsessed with like these types of things, like the thought of like what's out there, not only just in in these fictional movies, but the supernatural in the real world. Like we don't know what happens once we die. We don't know. We just have what people believe in religion, and just what we assume would happen. And if ghosts are real, if demons are real, all these types of creatures. But what I never had done was use a Ouija board, because I had heard growing up so many, stories, so folklore, from from different family members, not just my dad, but just different family members. I do recall one story as to why we were baptized, me and my sister, because they believe that it protects you from witches and demons and stuff like that. My dad even told me that growing up in his country, in his village, that kids that weren't baptized would get taken by witches. That they would come at the devil's hour, midnight to 3 a.m. At that timing, the devil's timing, and they would take children from their homes, the ones that weren't baptized or were misbehaving, or were always being disrespectful to their parents. I don't know if this was just something that parents would come up with just to scare the crap out of their kids. But as a kid, these things just stick with you. You're like, oh damn, I would never want that to happen to me. I wouldn't want to be taken and all this and that. So time goes by. Like I said, I'm into scary movies and everything. I'm having a sleepover at my brother's house. The reason I'm having a sleepover at my brother's house, in case you're wondering, it's my older brother and sister were my half siblings. They were on my dad's side. He had 2 children before he got with my mother. So I had stayed over my brother's house, and we were gonna have the usual hangout we would do on the weekends, where school's out. We would rent movies, rent video games, and just play and hang out, stay up late, typical kid stuff. But this time was different. Where he was living at the time, he had a neighbor he became friends with, and the neighbor happened to have a Ouija board. So we decided, hey, let's try it. He had convinced me that, hey, let's try doing this. We had heard a lot of horror stories when it comes to this, like, hey, you don't say goodbye, that something can happen, or just even in general, just contacting the other side can cause a lot of mayhem in your life. Something that you probably shouldn't mess with, because it can affect you in horrible ways. So we were always curious about it, and sometimes that curiosity gets the best of you. Sometimes you should just leave things alone. But as kids do, sometimes we make stupid decisions. So we start playing with the Ouija board, start asking it questions, and it's answering. But it's hard to say, because we all have our hands on it. It was me, my older brother, and the neighbor, and the neighbor's friend. So it was 4 of us all hanging out together on the Ouija board. We were in a dark room. I want to say it was like 10 p.m., 11. So yeah, we were just there, and then we were just going back and forth, saying, hey, I'm not moving, are you moving it? Because it's just the way it works. You're supposed to put like 2 fingers on it and hold on to it, and it's a game. So you don't know who's really pulling it, but you're just assuming, you're just going along with it, like, okay, I know it's not me, but it's being moved. So it's moving around, it's saying different things. At one point, we asked it what it was, and they started spelling out, D, then went to E, then to M, then to O. I'm like, okay, so now this thing is a demon that we're talking to. And then we're like, I'm getting paranoid. I'm like, oh hell no, let's say goodbye. So, we're getting ready to try to say goodbye, and he's like, we start asking, I'm not by myself, so they still asking it questions. At one point, one of them, I don't remember who it was, who asked it, who are you looking for? And it's moving around. This was so long ago, so I don't remember all. I remember a majority of it, but I don't remember all the damn details. But so we asked who's they're looking for, and that's when the thing starts spelling out my name. So as it starts spelling out my name, I'm freaking out. I'm like, what the hell? So it's spelling out my name, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, yo, we gotta say goodbye. I'm not down with this. No, it's the incoming for me. We gotta end this now. We gotta end this now. So we're saying goodbye, but I'm hearing things. I'm hearing things moving. I'm paranoid. I'm hearing doors rattle. There was 2 doors. There was one in front of me and there was one behind me. And I'm hearing things rattle and I'm paranoid. I'm thinking something's coming for me. So as I'm hearing stuff move, I'm like, yo, let's just say goodbye. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's end this now. As I'm hearing this thing, or as we're trying to say goodbye, I'm hearing stuff. I'm thinking something's behind me. I don't see nothing in front of me. I don't see nothing behind me, but I feel like something's coming for me right now. So we're saying goodbye, we're trying to end this. Yo, I'm telling you, I've never been so scared in my life, because out of nowhere, something just comes out and tries to grab me. I run so fucking fast. It's not even funny. I was a flash. Nothing was gonna catch me. I was out. I ran out the door like something just straight. It was like an all white. I don't even know what the hell it was. It just came at me. I ran out, ran to the living room. I was going to my brother's apartment, to the other side. I was gone. I was trying to get the hell out of there. Then, as I'm running, these motherfuckers start laughing. Yeah, you got it. It was a joke on me. On my ass, because I was the youngest in the crew. Like I said, it was my older brother and the neighbor and his friend. They're all in high school, they're much older than me. I'm barely in middle school at the time. So I'm the youngest kid. The youngest kid in the crew always gets the jokes played on them, because that's how it goes. I was so fucking pissed when I come to find out there was a fucking joke. It was another friend that they had. Motherfucker was waiting in that other door that I had mentioned. He was one rattling it. He was just waiting for that moment. Motherfucker was dressed in all white with a at the time it was super popular. People still rock it today. The Scream mask, but I couldn't tell because, like I said, all I saw was like white, everything white. Like he even had gloves on, all white, just bust out the door, like trying to reach for me. Like I said, never been so scared in my life. Yeah, besides for like, serious situations, yeah, that's probably the scariest I've ever felt in my life. And yeah, I was so fucking mad when it turned out to be a joke. And I was like, not only was I mad, I was like super disappointed in my brother, because I was like, yo, you're supposed to have my back, and you just like decided to be on your dumbass friend's side to trick me. Like I'm your brother, like I got your back. I would have never done that to him, but he did that shit to me, so I was so pissed off. Yeah, it just took a minute to calm me down. I know that the neighbor's mom, when she has seen me run out like that, she was like, what the hell happened? And they were laughing and everything like that. She was super mad at them too, because the fact that they played that joke on me. She was like talking about how pale I looked. I was like, because I like, I just thought I saw, the end of my life. But again, it was just a joke. I ended up, like I said, was so mad. It took a while for me to calm down. My brother was just trying to do everything to be like, nah, it was just a joke, just calm down. We're just playing. And then, it took a minute to calm me down. Eventually I did. I remember that night, after that, it was a great sleepover weekend, but it was just that was the most messed up moment to me. That thing, I remember, I think the only reason I'd even really forgotten about it, because I think it was like the first time I had seen Desperado. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. That movie was awesome. Growing up, I think that was the first time I had seen it. Salma Hayek. Yeah, yeah, it was just one of those types of movies that Ari Spears would call man food. That one of those types of movies. It was just guns blazing, like it was crazy. Not to mention, growing up, I had seen a movie similar to that where it was a guy with guns in his guitar case, and come to find out, it was connected to this movie. So yeah, it was called The Mariachi, which was, I guess, a prequel to this one, which was Desperado. And then later on, they would come out with a third one. But at the time, I just thought this was a remake or something. But I fell in love with that movie. I've watched that movie like hundreds and hundreds of times. But yeah, that's what made my night for me. I was super happy after watching that movie. It calmed me down. It kept me happy. But yeah, besides that, I was so upset because I was just like, damn, I felt betrayed. And disappointed, because not only was I like I said, got betrayed by my brother, that I thought he had my back and wouldn't do something like that to me, but then also a part of me was also disappointed because, like I said, I grew up watching scary movies, horror. I've always been really into that kind of stuff, and the fact that this was just a joke, it was fake, is a bit disappointing, because I guess the curiosity inside of me, I guess as all people, I want to know the truth. Like, are ghosts real, or do these things exist? Yes, I would love to know. Do I want to find out in a way that I can never come back from? No, but I do want to know the truth, and the fact that this was just a joke, super disappointing to me. Well, yeah, just sharing a little bit of my childhood trauma with y'all. This is a first try of this, childhood story stuff here. Any of these little story times. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have a little bit of childhood trauma, a couple of stories on your end, let me know. Put it down in the comments. Just like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and let me know if you would like to see more of this kind of stuff. Peace.